Those who are just joining us, we are nearing the end of CFO Connect Summit Demo Day. So here's our theory is that there's a lot of tools out there that support finance with AI, but we know that you don't have a lot of time to schedule endless demos. So our idea is bringing together the best in breed so that you can just sit back, relax, and discover here with us. So, with that, up next is Dust. Many of you might have already heard from the founder of Dust, Gabriel Hubert. He spoke with us yesterday alongside Stripe and Photo Room. But today we have Alban who will be joining us. So, as a quick note about Dust, founded in 2023, it's a platform that really enables companies to create customized AI agents powered by leading AI models. So, think GPT, Claude, Mistral, and internal data sources. So again, think Slack, Notion, Google Drive, GitHub, etc. These agents really deeply understand each user's business context, automate repetitive tasks, and enhance overall team productivity. So you don't want to hear it from me. You'll hear it directly from Alban, who will now be joining us. Again, for those who are just joining, make sure to use the Q&A tab on the right-hand side to ask your questions, and then you can upvote each other's questions. There's resources from Dust in the resources tab. And also at the end of the session, we will do a poll. So if you want to talk to Dust right away, we'll make sure to make that happen. So with that, let's welcome Alban to the stage.
Hi, thanks, Michelle. All right, we'll get going pretty smoothly and directly. So Dust is basically enabling people like you and anybody in a company to create agents without having to code or do anything fancy. Basically, the agents are no code, really easy to build, and we're a horizontal platform, meaning that the entire company can use it. We've got agents that have been built by our clients, or we've got templates that you can use for pretty much any use cases. But today we're going to focus on a few finance use cases because of the audience. So we'll try to look at basically we've taken some data that we actually imported into Dust. So if I'm looking at finance folder in Dust that I created, I've got a few reports, a report around sales commissions, and a report around financial history pivots. These are basically data spreadsheets that I've fed into Dust, and I've built an agent on top of that. The agent that I've built is called Financial Analyst. I'm going to just take a look at it to explain. The goal of this session is not to explain how to build an agent, but what it can do. So I'm going to go pretty fast on this. The agent is basically a set of instructions. So here it's, I'm just telling it its role, its objective. The objective is to create interactive visualizations from financial spreadsheets to help users understand financial data trends. So basically the goal is to simplify spreadsheets and be able to build dashboards or build presentations like board meetings and stuff like that, that you can do. For that, I attached a few things to that agent. So knowledge, which is the financial reports at stake. So if I go there, I can see that I've attached my financial data. I've attached a tool called content creation, which is a tool that we're about to release actually tomorrow. It's pretty new. Well, it's actually more than new. It's not released yet in the world, but it's going to happen tomorrow. And I've also attached a Google Sheets tool, meaning that my agent is capable of writing and reading directly in my Google Sheets. I'm not going to demo that today, but we also have an Excel extension, so you can have Dust directly interact inside of your Excel software. We have a Google Sheet extension. We have a lot of extensions that you can actually use directly in your financial software. All right, let's take a look at what this agent is capable of doing. So I'm just going to start a new conversation. So to start a conversation with an agent, I'm just going to mention it. I'm going to call financial analyst, and I'm going to ask it to create an analysis, a waterfall bridge from that revenue, a net income from the last quarter, et cetera, and it's going to work. So what's going to happen right now is that it's actually getting the database schema from my Excel spreadsheet. So it's building a database live from the spreadsheet, which becomes a SQL database. And now you can see that it's starting to pull some data from that SQL database. And it's going to work for a while because it might be a little long. depending on what we ask. So I'm going to maybe switch to one that I actually prepared right here. So I did that at about 15 minutes ago. I asked it to create an interactive policy impact pack consisting of baseline review, monthly commission expenses, etc. The commission expenses is one of the files that I have fed my agent. And if I'm looking at what it created, I can see a baseline view of the monthly commission expenses, bucket summary, etc. And if I look at different scenarios, I can move around in my dashboard, seeing which are my top performers, which payout redistributions in my salespeople do I have? Do I have people that are affected or not by whatever policy I'm creating? And I can have actually a summary of what's happening in my sales commissions. I can keep going if I'm not happy with whatever it created. I can keep going and ask it for modifications. And yeah, that's super powerful because I can also either download it to include it in an actual slides presentation, or I can actually share that link directly for anybody, either internally or publicly, to have access to that dashboard. All right, I can share another dashboard that I created a few minutes later. Build an executive dashboard for the last 12 to 24 months that includes some KPIs, some trend panels, efficiency panels, diagnostic callouts, etc. So it's answering me saying that it created a comprehensive executive dashboard that includes all the requested components. Okay, cool. Let's look at the dashboard. And now I can actually present that directly to my board saying, here are the numbers that you're here to see. And it took me literally 1 minute to ask for it. Because Dust is connected to the right data. So here I actually connected an Excel spreadsheet, but if your data is somewhere else, let's say in a data warehouse like Snowflake or BigQuery, or in a database somewhere, in a Notion database, in a Confluence database, and somewhere in the SharePoint, Dust will find it if you attach it to the right agent. So yeah, here is a very comprehensive dashboard. Let's go back to the one that I just asked for. So I was asking to create a two-parts analysis, waterfall bridge from revenue to net income, variance analyzer, and here it is. So it actually finished creating my waterfall graph, and I can move around, see exactly what happens, and same thing. I can actually share that super easy. Let's say I want, I see we have a few minutes left. So let's say I want to create a Google Sheet with that summary. Because my agent is also able to access my Google Sheets, it can access a lot of things, but for that demo, we're just talking about Google Sheets. So here we can see that I'm just asking to create a new Google Sheet with that summary, and it's running a tool. So if I'm opening that, you can see that it's actually trying to create a spreadsheet. It's running the tool, and here is all the output that it's throwing into that tool. It's going to take a few seconds because the Google API is answering us, and then we have to update all the cells of that tool. So it's going to take a second to understand and create my final spreadsheet. During that time, I'm going to keep going in the demo around the rest of what Dust is. So basically, we are enabling you to connect data. So it can create, you can just import a ton of data from pretty much any team. But if you want to be financial, it could be anything from SharePoint, Microsoft, Google Drive, depending on where you store all your financial data. And then agents, when you create agents, you'll be able to attach knowledge. So you've got a little button here to say attach knowledge. You're going to try to figure out where your knowledge is. So here, my reports are sales commissions and history pivot. And then you're going to be able to attach specific sets of tools. So tools could be either semantic search, meaning that you can search for meaning in your data. So you can say, okay, let me know how we did this quarter, compared to something that would be a little more quantitative. So if you call query tables, it's going to create exactly what we saw at the beginning. It's going to create an actual SQL query table that it will prompt, and it will actually generate the SQL queries to get the right data out of the well, from the spreadsheets. The other two tools that you can see here are for summaries. Basically, if you want to be able to summarize calls that you had, like transcripts of calls that you had with either your board meeting, with your executives, or with customers, you can have those calls ingested by an agent, processed. So it doesn't mean summarized. It could be an agent that decides to process the call to be able to extract the right information, the right amount of numbers or financial statements that have been talked about, and it could make you have actions that would be created directly in your Google Calendar, for example. So there's pretty much a world of things you can do, depending on if you want personal productivity tools, if you want financial tools, if you want sales tools, if you want marketing tools. Pretty much anything is available. I'm going to come back to the agent that is supposedly creating. There we go. So it ended up creating my Google Sheet. So if I'm trying to open that Google Sheet, oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Let me come back to it. There we go. The Google Sheet here was created. So you can see it's old data. I pulled financial analysis summaries from Microsoft from the year 2000. And you can see the analysis, variance, budget, and key insights from the analysis that my agent just did. So I didn't have to interact at all with my spreadsheet. It just created everything for me. And this spreadsheet instantly becomes available for the rest of my agents to use. So if I want to be able to feed my agent, like I can talk to different agents in the same conversation. So let's say here I talked to my financial analyst, and now I want to talk to a translator. Do I have a translator? Yeah. Translate in Spanish, translate that last summary. And now I can actually keep going in the same conversation with different agents. So it means that you'll have specialized agents, which are basically coworkers that you will build and that will work exactly the way you want them to build to work, and that are going to be able to work for you in the same conversation. So they can actually use each other's results to actually keep working and make something super powerful. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of details that I can get into, like the Chrome extension. So you can have data directly from your browser if you want to pull in whatever. If you're on Salesforce, for example, and you want the context from Salesforce, you can actually just pull the Dust Chrome extension and have your Salesforce context directly in the conversation. We have like, if you have customer support teams, for example, we have Zendesk extension. If you want to do automation, we have Zapier, Make, NA10 extensions that you can use to actually call your agents automatically. If you want to generate a report every Monday morning, we have a triggers system that you can use. So if I just go back to any agent here, you can now, this is pretty new as well. My Wi-Fi is taking a while. You can now add some triggers. So if I want to schedule an agent saying, okay, so this one is running every day at 6:30 p.m. to actually just run and maybe change things in my Google Sheet to make sure my Google Sheet is always up to date, up to date. So yeah, basically you can use agents as coworkers that do work for you all the time at night if needed.
Ben, this has been so impressive. We actually do have a number of questions for you in the Q&A. So we've got probably, I'd say, 2 minutes that we can take for questions. So if
Okay.
you head over to that, I'll let you answer those, and I'll be back when it's really time to leave.
All right. I'll start with the one with the most votes. What's the value of using Dust to create an agent versus creating a GPT with ChatGPT? Dust is a collaborative tool based on company level. So basically, the main difference is that Dust is going to use company data, is going to allow you to share conversations with your coworkers, and everything's built to collaborate. We're basically a work first experience, and ChatGPT is more of a consumer first experience. Um, and we have well, I haven't talked about that because it was not the main point, but you can use any model in Dust. You can use Claude. You can use, you can actually switch the models depending on what you want, and not all models are the best at doing the right thing. So you don't have to use only OpenAI models there. I'll take another question. Can you do a PPT output? For now, no. But the content creation I just showed you is supposed to be able to create presentations that use your templates and that use your logos and things like that. So it's not going to create a PPT. You can create images or presentations, but it's not going to be a PPT. What's the difference between Dust and Zapier? You talked about connecting each other. So Zapier is basically a workflow automation platform. So it allows you to launch things. And one of the things you can launch is a Dust agent.
Alban, this has been so great. I know there's a few questions we didn't get to. No worries for those who asked them. We'll make sure to get them over to the Dust team so that we can get back to you with those answers. Can't thank you again for such a great demo. Again, for those that want to get right in touch with Dust, Julie has dropped the link in so that we know and we can put you in touch. Huge thanks again to the Dust team. And now, for those of you who are joining for our last demo with OpenAI, you're going to be put right over to the next session. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alban.
Thank you, guys.